What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm going to be going over some updates that come into some games that come into the Oculus Quest version 1 and 2 within the next 2 to 3 months. So let's get right into the video. So as you may or may not know, Pixel Rip 1989 was unfortunately declined from the Oculus Store, and people who wanted to play it can only play it on the Oculus Rift. So the company that makes Pixel Rift, but they made a game called Pixel Rift 1995, which is the newer version, basically the same thing, same principle of the 1989 version. But for those of you who have played the 1995, they just released a new DLC called the 1989 update, which is essentially like the version for the Rift, but now on the Quest 1995, if that makes any sense. So the update, it will cost you about $15. If you don't have the game already, it'll run you a total of roughly about $40, 40 to 45 bucks if you don't have the 1995 game already. So, which is honestly pretty fairly priced considering that you pay basically 20 bucks for 2 games. So I mean, it's not super expensive. So now most of you have probably heard of the old games called Warhammer, which was an old console game back in the early 2000s, and they've actually made a game for the Oculus Quest version 1 and 2 coming November 12th, I believe. It's called Warhammer 40K Battle Sisters, and that is going to be coming out for about $29.99, I believe, roughly. $20 to $29.99. Now in this game, you're a battle sister wielding authentic and powerful weaponry and abilities. Be drawn into a gripping action-filled story against forces of chaos with this deep and compelling story. Now what's really cool is that you can either play this by yourself or with a couple of friends. I think up to 4 friends, so it is multiplayer. Now I don't know if it's gonna be online multiplayer or if it's local, like room code or invite friends kind of multiplayer. So we will have to see about that. Now, Steve Knows did post a video of the alpha footage, or the alpha gameplay, on his channel. If you want to watch that, I will post a link to his channel and you can find it, or I'll just post a link to the video and you can watch it yourself. So it looks pretty good for being a Quest game. So there's not much to say about this game really, besides it has melee and like really cool weaponry and stuff like that. So let's get right onto the next game. So now this one is kind of iffy for me. Like, if you're a horror fanatic, if you love horror games, then you're gonna love this. The Blair Witch Project is coming to the Oculus Quest October 29th. I don't know how much. I'm thinking it's gonna be around $20 USD. So now this next game is for you horror fanatics. If you guys love the Blair Witch, then you're gonna love this because they have a game, the Blair Witch, coming to the Oculus Quest version 1 and 2. I don't know if this is gonna be out for the Rift. I'm almost pretty sure it is, but I know they have it on Steam and they have it on gaming consoles like Xbox and stuff like that. They also made a movie about it a couple of years back, like I would say about 20 years ago. So it's more than a couple of years, but you still get it. But on a bit of lighter news, Population 1 is finally getting a release date and with a price tag. Now, I'm sure you've heard a bunch of other YouTubers talk about this kind of topic, but I still haven't gotten to it yet, so here it goes. The Population 1 is going to be released October 22nd for $29.99, and that is not going. This game is going to have the in-app purchases. So a lot of people weren't that happy about the microtransactions because of the $30 price tag, and I can see why, totally see why. But honestly, I think it's kind of good for this game, only because when you have that higher price tag and in-game transactions, you tend to keep the unwanted crowd out. Now the in-game transactions are going to be purely for cosmetics only, like gun skins, and only to make yourself look prettier. So that's all the in-game payments are for. It's not going to give you an advantage or disadvantage in the game at all. There's nothing to it besides skins. So, but on a bit of lighter news, this does support crossplay, meaning that you can get it if you buy in a Rift, you get it free in the Quest. 1 and 2, and vice versa. If you get in the Quest, you get it for free on the Rift S and the Rift CV1 or whatever, which is a relief because everybody hates buying the double copies of the same game, the IPD hack. So apparently, now disclaimer, I don't know if this will ruin your headset or this will make your headset not work or break your headset, I don't know. I'm almost pretty sure it doesn't, but being that it only has one screen, and the only things that are moving are actually the display, like the whatever is shown on the screen is being moved, not the screen itself, but the game or whatever you're playing is being moved according to where you move the lens, and so that might cause some longevity issues down the road, but I don't know. But apparently, when you slide your thumb up between the lenses, you can kind of get it between the settings 1 and 2. So if you're dead on in between the settings, you can just slightly adjust it between the 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, and you should hypothetically, theoretically, get a better, clear picture. Now this idea was brought up by the VR Cauldron, which is another fellow YouTuber on obviously the YouTube platform and stuff like that. So he posted a video on this. Actually, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, why didn't nobody think of that? Like, why didn't I think of that? So I'm on setting 2, which is it's perfectly fine for me, and same for most of my family. So I can't really test this out. I'm not really gonna test this out when I already have perfect vision. So the last update I want to talk about is actually about a game called Pistol Whip. Now, back in OC's Facebook Connect 7, there was talk about a update